cloud servers. It does all that kind of good stuff. It's a new iteration coming out. Hey, everybody. This is Anthony James, founder and CEO of LinuxAcademy.com and CloudAssessments.com. And I'm joined by Phil. Say hello, Phil.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And I'm going to make sure I have the community going here. And I'm actually live streaming somewhere. And here we go. And so we're always trying to perfect our stream and whatnot. So Phil's actually located, I should show you the TV that I'm looking at because we're up there. But Phil's actually located in our Dallas-Fort Worth office, one of two offices next door. So just asked him to walk over and join on this stream. And so we're just going to say hello to everybody. There's a lot going on. Remember, go ahead and post in the Slack, or not Slack, in the YouTube channel if you have any questions or anything. And today we are going to talk about some cloud assessments content that is coming out. We got lots of it working on that. So real quick, let's pull up, do we have, Davis, do we have our slide stuff up there? We can pull up and do our quick intro as always. Real quick, if you are on the YouTube channel and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button. We're going to start putting some nice little gems out there. You'll start seeing some really great announcements, and don't unsubscribe every time you see me. I know that's usually the urge, but you know, again, I'm not Zuckerberging it and stealing your data, so don't be mad at me. Also, follow us on LinuxAcademy.com, Twitter.com/LinuxAcademy.com, and Facebook/LinuxAcademy.com, and YouTube, which is where you're probably at. We are streaming on Twitch TV, so if YouTube is not for you, you can stream on Twitch TV. Alternatively, we are streaming on Facebook, and they are data mining all of our words. So, and then from there, follow us on Scalar Code and Cloud Assessments, and you can follow me, Anthony D. James, on Twitter, all of that other good stuff. So we've done a lot this month. It is Tuesday, April 11th, and we've done a lot. We've got to talk to a lot of people. We've done a lot just in terms of streaming, let alone all of the work that's going on in the background right now. If you don't know much about Linux Academy, we have, I think it's 90-some staff members as of today. We have Terry Cox in the in the Dallas-Fort Worth office right now, onboarding some new, the YouTube comment. Somebody's angry with Facebook. I mean, I believe in privacy. I'm just saying.
Shots fired.
Yeah, we didn't start it. And he's onboarding some Azure course authors. Bill's been working on some specific challenges. If you're not familiar with cloud assessments, we're going to talk a little bit about that today and announce some new stuff going on there. And tomorrow, we also have challenges and learning activities. In fact, I'm going to talk about some learning activities coming out on cloud assessments today as well. And so real quick, let's do a recap. Do I have a recap slide? Here we go, recap. All right, everybody. On Monday of last week, I gave you a really impromptu tour with a handheld cell phone, so it's a little shaky. And then on Tuesday, we upped our game a little bit and started doing some awesome streaming. And we announced our Google Cloud Security Essentials. On Wednesday, we upped it a little bit more. We did Google App Engine Deep Dive. On Thursday, we announced our AWS IM Deep Dive, which is Identity and Access Manager. On Friday, we launched the Building a Serverless Chatbot with AWS Lex. For those of you who are interested in data and AI, you know, Fernando's a great course author, and that is a fun course, already getting amazing reviews. It's one of those courses that you can learn a lot in a very short time period. It's not really that complex, which is one of the really cool things about serverless technologies in general. And yesterday, we announced our OpenStack Ubuntu Pike. I think that is. Yes. Yes. All right. So on that note, I lied. We're announcing so much content, I can't even keep up with it, and we're not even halfway through with our announcements. Like, we haven't even announced half the courses. We haven't announced a tenth of our activities, and I can't even keep up with it. DevOps Essentials was yesterday. Friday was OpenStack Ubuntu Pike. Today's Wednesday. Monday was OpenStack Ubuntu Pike. Tuesday was DevOps Essentials. Wednesday is some cloud assessment stuff and a show of Anthony being all over the map, trying to keep up with where we're at. So follow me on LinkedIn and you'll get more of that. So Phil, real quick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do at Linux Academy, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So I used to write for our blog quite a bit. This year, I've started working on cloud assessments content. I have a very cool title, which I love to tell people. It's an assessment architect. And what that means is I'm making cloud assessments, making challenges, learning activities, things like that.
So let's dive into that a little bit, and I'm going to kind of maybe go in and we'll talk a little bit about the design behind it. But for context, for those of you watching, we spent the last, all right, so I'm losing all track of time lately. It's April. We started in December of 2016. And so we spent the last 15 months or so focusing on building this cloud assessments product. And in fact, it's our next generation learning platform, believe it or not. It has our real-time grader engine based off of it. It has a lot of different options. We've taken a lot of feedback. We have so much coming out on it, actually, some new things, not only from content, but some site revamps on it. And what our approach there was we believe in hands-on learning, right? And the other side of that is we have this technology, this greater technology that we've developed that allows us to be able to really gauge your skill sets and let you know what you need to learn. And what I mean by that is you can take a question and answer based assessment. At the end of the day, taking question and answer based stuff doesn't necessarily help you understand, am I prepared to actually do this in a real world environment or inside of a real environment, right? You want to get in there. You want to know, you want to see, you want to apply. And so I keep looking at the YouTube channel. Yes, and I just love talking to people in the community, so I just look at it. But so what it does is it takes you through that. So Phil, real quick, why don't you tell us what a challenge is? When they start it, what do they see?
So a challenge is a scenario. So you can you guys hear me? All right. All right. So a challenge is a scenario. So if you watch a tutorial, you might understand how to use a service, but it might not make sense to you why you would use that service or how things fit together. So the reason that we make these scenarios is so you can be put into a situation like you might face in the real world and solve a real world problem. So I don't know if I want to give my example yet. I don't know if we're ready for the announcement, but
how long does it take to, because if you think about it, there's a lot that goes into designing it, right? We actually partner with people for this. We got to build the real world. Let's see if we can make this work a little bit better. We haven't, here, let's try it like this. I was trying to be funny and then it just looked crazy. So, the process of it is, first, what is it that we are testing for? What are we hoping that the student can accomplish? And if not, what do they need to be able to accomplish, right? And so you go into that, and then you work on how do you design that, right? So when you think about it, there's a scenario. And you're given a text scenario in this situation, and there's a lot that goes into this. It's very granular, right? If you think about it, there is, I don't know what's happening here. There is, are you gonna hold it the whole time?
Yeah, just get a little more action in there.
They were saying it was a little shaky, so as long as it's not a little shaky, it's all good. So, just completely off guard here, everybody, I'm sorry.
If this distracts you.
A little
I'll
bit,
sit down.
yeah, it's for sure a little
Okay.
distracting. A little distracting. Okay, let's try that again. And so then we sit down and design it. So it's all the way down from asking questions or creating a scenario in the right way to help you understand what you should architect. Are you architecting from a high availability standpoint? Are you architecting from a cost perspective, from a redundancy perspective? And how you design architecture depends on that. So how long does it really take you to go through that process and design something?
From start to finish, it might be anywhere from a week to a couple of weeks. It depends on the concept, right? Like high availability, that's an easy one to figure out. Okay, I'm gonna need a load balancer, multiple subnets, a few EC2 instances, and things like that. The one that I've been working on, that I'm not gonna say the name of yet, took a little bit longer because I was trying to figure out which concepts to include, which ones not to include, and how big can I make this challenge? How realistic can it be? And so that one took a little bit longer.
Yeah, and so let's actually go ahead and open it up so we can talk about it a little bit. Let's pull that slide up and let's take a look at what we are announcing here. So let's bring it up here. We got something for it? We are going to go ahead and announce 2 challenges we have Content and Media Delivery Challenge, and EFS Storage Solutions. And we'll pull it up on the screen here a little bit. In fact, we'll probably start it in a second. And while I'm doing that, Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit about the, since you can talk about it now, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So content and media delivery, it's a CDN, a content delivery network. And what that does is it allows you to deliver photos, media, other assets to a global audience as fast as possible by using edge locations. So in this challenge, you're going to do that. You're going to set up a domain name. You're going to troubleshoot some origin issues. And when you're done, you're going to have a realistic solution to a realistic problem. And hopefully that will teach you how this stuff fits together in the real world.
Perfect. So in fact, can we pull up the screen that we have going on here? So what we have is when you open up this challenge, right, we get a nice intro video of Phil.
That's a nice picture.
It is great. It's stopped perfectly. And what we want to do as part of this challenge is we want to give you an understanding of some of the expectations. Because honestly, at the end of the day, when you're given a solution, there are different ways. There's probably like 20 million different ways to design a solution inside of an AWS architecture, right? So if you think about it, when you're working on designing that solution, you need to know how you want to design it. Maybe one company really wants you to use, maybe they really want you to use EC2, or maybe they really want you to use OpsWorks, right? So really understanding, it seems like it's an audio issue that's occurring here. I don't think I can speak much louder. I'm not gonna lie.
I've got everything like double with audio.
Are we doing all right? Good on the audio, people? Roberto, can you hear it? Everybody there, can you hear? Hello.
I mean, I have it literally set to 199% of the volume. So this is maxed out. This is maxed out. I'm not sure what else we can do. I mean, can they?
All right, it seems like we're doing better now. So as we are going through here, as you can tell, one, it's important that you look at these expectations, right? Make sure that before you take it, you understand that what we're looking for, right? And it also shows the tools that you're going to end up using. You're going to have CloudFront or classic ELB. So instead of app ELB, you're going to be expected to use the classic ELB, right? So following this is really important. And the other thing that can happen is if we were to play this video, Phil's going to take us through and help define some of those expectations, right? And yeah, Jeremy, it's not a picture. It's him talking. I just paused it. We don't just have a giant picture of him on the.
I always end up being frozen on the most unflattering pictures.
Oh, there's a better one right there.
Yeah, that's.
We changed it, Jeremy. Is that good? That's good. I hope that's good, Jeremy. I hope that's what you wanted. So what I'm going to do is, if you're a Linux Academy member, you get unlimited access to Cloud Assessments and Linux Academy and ScaleYourCode.com. And so with that, one thing I want you to know is if you are a Community Edition member, on a Community Edition, you will get access to be able to, I just hit tile on my phone. Gosh, man, today's a crazy day. If you're a community member, what you can do is if you have gyms, you'll notice here that you have gyms over here, and you earn gyms by doing certain things, linking your LinkedIn profile or taking some of the content, it'll award you gyms. And if you have gyms to go through and take it, it will mark it off on your profile. And if you don't have to do that, it won't mark it off on your profile. But as a Community Edition member, there are a lot of free things that you can do with the gyms, just maybe not everything, right? And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and start the challenge. And what's happening is it's provisioning the actual AWS environment for us, right? And what we have here is what we call our while you wait cards. And what we want to do is provide some value. We do want to make these labs more instantaneous, but sometimes we're provisioning real environments. So it can take time to actually do that. And at the very least, since we want to, what we want to do is provide that value and say, hey, this is some good information that you should know, whether it's talking about new AWS services. And that's what these while you wait cards are. And so why don't you tell us a little bit why this is loading, tell us a little bit about the other challenge, and I'm going to talk about some of the activities that I've actually created that are going to be available now as well.
Sure. So the other challenge is Efs Storage Solutions, and title kind of gives it away. You're going to use EFS to create a shared storage solution that is used by multiple EC2 instances. This one is not yet available on the site. It will be very soon, but that's kind of the gist of it. It's EFS.
Yeah, and
all about EFS.
It should be coming out this week. And so whenever you take these, what happens? So a lot of times when you take it, we say, hey, you struggled in this area. What we're going to do is recommend to you these learning activities. And these learning activities are designed to help teach you where you kind of had a lacking in knowledge, right? And so in order to do that, you have to go through those challenges. It'll recommend to you. But we're also designing these things called learning activities. We have a lot of announcements and whatnot around that this month. And really personally, I've been working on some of those as well. So a few of them that I've worked on is we launched the Introduction to IM, which is a hands-on learning activity. And then I also did the Introduction to Windows on EC2. And one that's going to come out with a Quest announcement tomorrow, which is going to be really cool. And you might derive the value of the Quest, but one of the learning activities as part of the Quest is actually called Amazon S3 bucket policies, and then I also did another one called Introduction to Amazon S3. And so we have a lot of stuff coming on there. We have over 50 of these activities being launched this month alone. And so when you go through and take this, what you have is this is your scenario that you need to walk through and do. Our intention isn't on these challenges to tell you how to do it. Those are our learning activities, right? So these challenges are meant for you to test your ability, right? This should give you confidence that if you can go and pass this challenge, you can do it in a production environment. This is real world hands-on testing. Now we do a few, they always make fun of that on TV and I just can't do it. So we do have a few different ways. If you start this and you're like, all right, I get it, be sure you're reading into it and whatnot, but you can click on your diagram hint. And what happens is it pops up our hint box. And so I can view some hints. It actually tells me some of the expectations, kind of gives you the answers, but if you don't know how to do it, these answers are useless. Alternatively, I can view the architectural diagram, which gives me an overview of what the environment should be looking for, right? This is kind of the end result that you're gonna have. And if for some reason you just don't feel like you can do it, what we don't wanna do is we don't wanna hold that against you. You could go ahead and just select Get Started with Learning Activities, and that will gracefully close this out, which means we're not going to grade you. We're not going to give you a bad score. It's not going to be heard against you, and you're going to be able to move on. So sometimes we just might think that we can do more than we can. And then what happens here is we're able to log into the actual AWS environment. So if I were to click Open Console, I log in with the cloud user. Will you log in for the type in cloud user for me, though, Phil?
And did you copy that?
I did.
All right.
And it logs me into the environment, and based off of that, I can go through and look at the challenge, right? This is describing what they're expecting for you to set up and go through. So that is cloud assessments, and then when you go through it, and again, if I'm gonna go ahead and hit finish, yeah, I'm gonna hit finish. It's gonna give me a bad grade because I didn't do anything.
Yep.
And the learning activities are gonna have step-by-step things for you to complete, right? You have a testing component, which is our challenges, and you have the learning activities, which are designed to walk you through it and learn it, right? So this is one of the really great things that we have kind of launching, and we had the other learning activities associated with it, and tomorrow we're actually launching a full-on Quest at Cloud Assessments, and I didn't do so well here, and it's recommended that I take some learning activities. I can click on that. It'll take me into this one, and I can start that activity. And the same thing with our learning activities. We like having architectural diagrams on there. We like providing all this additional value. So one of the things that we heard from our students was we love diagrams. So we got a little crazy. They said we love hands-on and we love diagrams, right? And one of the things that you come to Linux Academy for that nobody else has is those hands-on labs and is our interactive and practical hands-on learning, right? And what I mean by that is you want a diagram. So we said every single activity we create needs a diagram. And then we turned around and said, we're going to also go and build interactive diagrams. That actually was Thomas Hazlitt who built the original version of the interactive diagrams. Now, all of our new content as handling interactive diagrams. So you wanted diagrams, and we're giving you all the diagrams. And so, what questions from the YouTube, YouTube going on there that you might have from, about our challenges and cloud assessments activities. And again, is if you're a Linux Academy user on the top page right here, if we go back to that real quick, Davis, on the top page, you see that you have Scale Your Code, Cloud Assessments, and Linux Academy. With the Linux Academy membership, it is 100% included. There's no additional cost. The gems, if you have a Linux Academy membership, will be used for redemption on other things. We will not limit you in terms of content. However, if you are a Community Edition user, you can earn gems in order to take this pieces of content. You can earn gems by referring friends, by linking your LinkedIn profile on the left-hand side over here of the screen, and even by following the workflow process of taking challenges, you can learn some of those things. So real quick, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull over, and I think we got some questions. Let me see what I have here.
In this lab, let's discuss security groups and network access.
And you'll notice on here, so Davis, real quick, pop up on that screen for me again real quick. On these instructions and tasks, what's happening right here is this box will turn into a checkbox when you successfully complete the task inside of there. So this actually lets you know if you are doing the right things, right? And so that's really, really important. The other side of that is we have view architectural diagram, and some of our content has guides. Our tech writing team, we're scaling. So if you know of anybody who is a tech writer that'd love to join our team, we literally create way too much content for our tech writers to keep up. So we got to quadruple the size of that team. And so real quick, we have Timothy that says, tell everybody about the 5 learning activities that are available in cloud assessments. So my first response to that is 5. So I think learning activities on cloud assessments, we have, I have 5 alone myself. We have.
Yeah, you've done 5 in the past month. I think we have probably double or triple that at least.
Yeah, we have about 30 or 40, specifically if you go through the AWS CSA quest. These are all challenges, and these challenges have these activities associated with them right here. Right, so on this quest, you have these challenges, and then each challenge, once you take it, tells you your recommended activities. So you can see I've taken these 2 challenges, and it's recommended these activities, which are learning activities. And so there's a boatload of them. And we're launching another quest tomorrow, which is going to be super excited. We have 3 quests in work, I think, this quarter. And I'm hoping to sneak one in there. I am. I don't like committing on that just because I'm super busy, but... Bearded Wombat has a question.
It's a nice name.
It's an epic name. Hi, I'm an LA subscriber for a year. Some time ago, you had LFCS Cloud Credential Challenges. When will it be available on cloud assessments? That's a good question. And in fact, while you're doing that, let me message Terry real quick and ask him when we are going to launch that.
Phil will entertain us in the meantime.
Phil will entertain us in the meantime. Phil,
yeah,
tell
you want
us.
me to make some more bad faces?
Yes.
Give me the blockchain funnel lab tunnel.
Well, no, that was one time only.
Okay, so what I will say is if it's not imminent, did I say that right? My words today. I have not been able to use. I've not been able to use my words. This is going to be all over the internet. That's not good. What I will say is we will be sure to get that out this quarter. The cloud credential that you are talking about was on a legacy-based grader system, and the entire last year we went and revamped it. The main problem with our legacy system is it wasn't scalable, and so we needed to redesign it. It's one of our most complex architectures, and it was designed to be scalable from the ground up, and so we'll go back and remake that. And in fact, you'll probably expect to see Red Hat Certified System Administrator ones on there. Linux Foundation Certified System Administrator practice exams as well, LFCE, RHCE, and anything that's kind of performance-based will end up having a performance-based practice exam quest on there at one point in time in the future. So we'll expedite that as much as we possibly can. And Jeremy says, so learning activities must be unlocked. The answer to that is yes, no. And I'm going to go ahead and announce it just so y'all know. Really, yes, except no. So we're launching something sometime this quarter called the Learning Center. And the Learning Center takes the approach of cloud assessments from a different perspective. And as soon as we launch it, we'll do a lot of live streams over it. But the Learning Center is designed to look at a quest and an activity from a learning perspective. Since these activities, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Since these learning activities are independently consumable, standalone pieces of content, you need to be able to discover those learning activities by yourself. But also, if you want to take a quest from start to finish and maybe not do the challenges, you want to be able to do that. So we are launching the learning first perspective of cloud assessments this quarter, I believe with a new control panel as well, and a lot of other updates coming to cloud assessments. Super excited about it. And we waited till we had all of the content to push that. We wanted to make sure we had the content first. And the next question we have is from Jeremy again. Jeremy, just lots of questions today. Can we earn an avatar that can equip medieval armor sets / weapons as we progress with badges?
I like that idea.
That was super complex. That was very specific. If I had Joel here, or Christoph, the Chief Product Officer, what they would tell you is we are very focused on cloud assessments towards gamifying cloud assessments. That's part of it a little bit there. That's why we decided to go with quests and activities to make it a little bit more fun. And what I will say is, I'm not going to go into more detail because you can probably derive some of what we plan on doing. The level at which we plan on doing it, I think, is incredibly unique. And I don't want to give that away. As we actually have 3 platforms we're maintaining, and it's a little bit of a challenge that we've had to work through. We have Linux Academy, Cloud Assessments, and Scale Your Code, but the answer to that is I want it to be yes, and it's probably our goal. Now, to that specific level, maybe, yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Maybe you'll have charisma points on your on your shield and whatnot. But that goes with earning gems too. But as community edition users, you can earn gems and get and purchase cloud assessment activities with it. As Linux Academy members, you get unlimited access. And so one of the things we're also going to work on is somehow redeeming those gems for different things. We have a lot of ideas, but it goes into our gamification component that we're working on. And Shavim asks us, what is challenge versus quest versus learning activity? You want to take this one, Phil?
Yeah, so this is a pretty common question. A quest is an overall, you can think of it almost like a storyline. Right now we have our CSA, which will prepare you for the Certified Solutions Architect exam. So that's kind of the overall theme of the quest. Within the quest is just the overall collection of challenges. And then the challenges are individual concepts that you'll need to understand and know how to do to pass your CSA exam. So for example, high availability, fault tolerance, and scalability. That's the first challenge within the CSA quest. VPC and VPC networking is the second one, and so on from there. When you take a challenge, kind of like we were going through before, depending on how you score, you're recommended different learning activities, and those will actually teach you through and walk you through how to do specific tasks. So learning activity teaches you how to do it, a challenge tests to see if you can do it, and then the quest is the collection of challenges.
So when you see Learning Center, one thing that you're going to see on the quest page is start your journey, right? So quest is going to take you through the journey of learning a specific topic, whether it's maybe being prepared for AWS CSA, or maybe it's learning Docker. You're going to go on a journey to learn Docker. You're going to test your ability, and then you can go through the learning perspective, but still you can miss parts, and that's part of the testing. So somebody asked before, when would we have question and based kind of assessment recommendations? And we've been really focused on the hands-on based assessment recommendations. That's just our big belief in hands-on over quiz questions. Just because you can game quiz questions. You can, when you think of an exam, taking an exam is an art. 30% of taking a question and answer based is just knowing how to read and answer a question, not actually the technical application of it. And our goal is to make sure that our students always have that real hands-on technical application. And so we've designed this product by that. So we're really excited about it. And so Ross has a question that says, so is the proper workflow to go from Linux Academy to the AWS course, and then from there go to cloud assessments, or can you jump in at step 2 because there are learning parts there as well. So what I will say, and this probably says too much, but I like just giving too much information to those who join us for our live stream. What I'll say is that Cloud Assessments is kind of the next generation learning platform for us. And what I mean by that is all of our new development is using that stack. It's a modern software stack. Linux Academy is 7 years old, the code set. We do a lot of development on it still, but being a kind of a monolith application, it's not a modern architecture. So we spent a lot of time redeveloping a microservice modern architecture, which includes all of the stuff kind of at Cloud Assessments, and that's how we're designed there. So when you go into Linux Academy, what you'll notice is, I'm going to pull it up here on the screen, and I'm going to pull up a, I don't know what is our most recent one, so I'll do DevOps Essentials. And what you'll notice is when you're taking that content where appropriate, there'll be this little Cloud Assessments icon, and it will drop you into where you need to go. And what you're also going to notice is there's going to be less of a distinction between Cloud Assessments and Linux Academy. And we are going to start, like this quarter, we actually have course authors dedicated to focusing on quests. How we build content there is actually designed very specifically around how our students like to learn in a hands-on perspective, and it's a little bit easier for us. And so even our internal tools and platforms we developed around that. So it's really exciting. So the answer is you can really do anything. If you follow a course, it's going to send you back and forth. We're going to guide you. If you go through a quest, it'll be all hands-on. There are some things that you can't teach in hands-on that we're launching new tools for, so we can do that. And so, you can never have too much. Always do enough hands-on training when you do conceptual training. Just watching videos and learning a concept, I don't believe is enough. I just generally, that is just a core belief. We want to train you to actually be able to do it, and I think you need these tools to do that. And so, Jeremy, so we have lots of questions here. So, Bearded Wombat, thanks, Anthony. You've talking migration from legacy non-scalable system to brand new Cloud Assessments, but Linux Foundation practice exams should be updated as well because LFCS course is already outdated. Yeah, join us every single day this month for announcements. Every day, every day. What I will say is, trust me when I say we know things. We know all of the content. We know every objective. We study our certifications. We have teams of people. We know all of these things. And as soon as something happens, the first question we are always looking at, we're watching, and scheduling updates and doing it based off of, unfortunately, one of the things that certification providers do is they all have kind of the same refresh cycle. So they all refresh at the same time of the year, which is super inconvenient because there's only so much you can do in a specific time period. And then there was another question that said, will there also be Scale Your Code segments attached to the appropriate course/assessment? What I will say, again, is over the next 3 months, 4 months, it's a strategic project for us, is our 3 brands will continue to be closely integrated, much like Cloud Assessments is closely integrated into Linux Academy. It's relatively easy to expect that Linux Academy, Cloud Assessments, and Scale Your Code will all be closely integrated together. Jeremy also then says, courses on AWS Security, Scale Your Code interview about AWS Security in real world will help back up real world scenarios. Jeremy, keep joining us this month. Just keep joining us.
Stay tuned, Jeremy.
Stay tuned. And we do have a webinar on AWS Security as well. And what I will say is I've actually been working on an internal project for DevSecOps in terms of security and managing security at a huge scale. And it's 100% focused on automation, and it's at a scale that's a little bit larger than most companies in certain situations. And so I've been really developing and using some of the new AWS tools on that. And I would say that even then, I'm going to be focusing on some learning activities around that. And again, we do have some other announcements for security this month as well. So real quick, I got these 2 guys, Linux Academy swag giveaway. I'm being ushered on. I talk too much. Linux Academy swag, do you guys see it? Nope, I don't think you do.
Yeah, they're
there we go. Boom, boom, chicka, boom, boom. Apparently, everybody just voted to give Jeremy swag. So it sounds like Jeremy's getting swag. Are we going to do another giveaway, or are we just going to give Jeremy swag?
We'll give Jeremy swag.
Let's do both.
Done.
What's the
Both.
giveaway?
All right. So what's it going to be, Winnie?
Comment below and a random person will be selected to win.
Comment below, and a random person will be selected to win.
Tell us what your favorite challenge is.
Tell us what your favorite challenge is. There you go. We'll do that. Tell us what your favorite challenge is. Comment on there. Tell us what your favorite challenge is below on YouTube, and follow. And we'll go from there. So we're going to give away swag. So we'll wrap up here. I think Jeremy's out of questions. And Jeremy's out of questions.
So one thing that I do want to say before we go, if you're looking for a teaser of tomorrow's announcement, we talked about it on the Cloud Assessments podcast. And for tomorrow's swag giveaway, you might want to listen to that episode and the episode right after, where Christoph and I talked about some of our problems with AWS, because that is going to be key to getting some swag tomorrow. Just a hint.
Tell them that they can check out SoundCloud, cloudassessments.com, search for that on SoundCloud.
We're also told that you can find that by going to soundcloud.com and searching for Cloud Assessments.
Okay. Sweet.
Lots of good stuff. So these live shows, if you guys even watched the past week of the live shows, we've been giving away so many secrets. It's not even funny. It's stuff that we're working on. It's stuff that we want to do. And I'm gonna answer this. I forgot who I was talking to. It was a student inside of our community Slack. So you can actually join our Slack community. Winnie, do you know the address of our Slack community? So Winnie's gonna get that. You can join our community Slack, and it's one of those things. They were talking about some of this fun stuff, and I was like, just understand, almost everything that you've seen in terms of requests of content, we have this past quarter been designing our content team around being able to handle that. So yes, we know that AWS came out with a bunch of new certifications. We know that they just last month refreshed 2 of them. What I will say is keep joining in this month and understand that we're watching those things. We're watching Efs CSA. We knew about that. Let me give you another secret about that. Just join us. They're telling me to stop giving away secrets. So we'll recap then. Recap is go back and listen to all of the secrets and keep joining us on the live show. So last time recap, this week we launched deploy and manage OpenStack on Ubuntu. With Amy, we had Will join us for DevOps Essentials, which has been already had a lot of amazing reviews because it's one of those great quick start courses. We had Phil join us today to release the Efs Storage Solutions and Content Media Delivery Challenges. Tomorrow, Phil will be joining us to announce a quest that we are launching that is related to some of the requested topics that we talked about today. And Friday, I'm probably just going to have a Q&A of a live stream. We won't do any announcements. We'll save some for next week. Next week, I'll actually be, I won't even talk about where I'll be live streaming from. I'm going to try to live stream from a remote location. And here's a last recap of everything we released so far this month. All of those coming soon locations are yet to be filled in this month. So there's a lot. Again, Google Cloud Security Essentials, Google App Engine Deep Dive, AWS IM Deep Dive, building a chatbot with Lex, deploy and manage OpenStack on Ubuntu Pike, DevOps Essentials. 2 of our challenges launched, Efs Storage Solutions, Content and Media Delivery. I don't think we're launching that many challenges this month. So that one might be a little bit, that one's inflated. But the learning activities is not. The learning activities, that might actually doesn't have as much. And the courses, we for sure still have a lot coming. So we have a lot going. So we have approximately, let me just give it for context. We have approximately 20 courses, over 50 learning activities, 5 or 6 different challenges. And so we have a lot going on there. And Walter, it is inside the CSA Quest. So if you go to CSA Quest, you click on the little icon, you'll find it on the bottom, and we'll be launching Learning Center to make sure that is easy for you to find. Thanks, Phil, for joining us. It was a crazy show.
It was.
It was a crazy show. Students, we appreciate it. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for referring your friends. It helps us build content teams and platforms and literally do everything you want. So when you guys contribute to the community, when you request things, when you ask for things, I want you to understand that our entire days are literally centered around building those tools for you. We're here for you. And so our goal is to get you what you want. And hopefully this month is the first start of all of that with our 70+ content announcements, where in July we're already slated on more than that. So it'll be a good month. Thanks everybody for joining. Goodbye.